Be on warp speed.
It's time. We'll call the meeting to order, the Newman City Council Redevelopment Agency for a regular meeting May 12. Please stand for the pledge. Ready to begin? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Kelly.
Please bow your heads. Lord, please give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make some wise and courageous decisions here in Newman and make these citizens I'm stuck.
A better place to live. Thank you.
Better place to live.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Amen.
I have some problems.
My mind, now how do I finish that in a nice way?
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Kelly.
Here.
Davis.
Present.
Candia.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Payton.
Present. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll move to item 6, ceremonial matters. Item A, proclamation Asthma Awareness Month. And I have a proclamation here, and I think we have Mrs. Arnett present. I know we have. Would you like to step down to the podium? I got a few whereases we're going to read. Welcome, Bernice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is a proclamation of the Mayor of the City of Newman. Whereas asthma has reached epidemic proportions in the United States, affecting about 20 million people. And whereas asthma is the leading cause of childhood hospitalizations, long-term illness, school absentee, accounting for more than 14 million missed school days each year. That's staggering. Whereas each year, 2 million people are rushed to the emergency room and 5,000 die from asthma. Whereas the 2007 California Health Interviews survey estimates that 65,000 people in Stanislaus County have asthma, of which 7,000 are children. And whereas the Health Services Agency has established an asthma coalition with over 60 representatives from the community, providers, health plans, American Cancer Society, American Lung Association, county and city schools, and the Central California Asthma Project to implement the school-based asthma program developed in the coalition's 2004 strategic plan for asthma in Stanislaus County. Whereas the Health Services Agency, Asthma Coalition, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency are encouraging Americans to identify and reduce their exposures to environmental triggers in the homes and schools and incorporate environmental controls into their asthma management plans. Whereas the City of Newman recognizes the need to raise asthma awareness, now, therefore, I, Ed Caton, Mayor, on behalf of the City of Newman, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Asthma Awareness Month in the City of Newman and commend this observance to all of our residents. Signed this day, May 2009. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Mayor Caton and the council for inviting me tonight to accept this proclamation in behalf of the Asthma Coalition of Stanislaus County, which I'm a member of. I started out on this probably on my third week as school nurse here some years ago, and it continues to grow. As you are probably aware, we do have the asthma flags that are used in our schools, and that displays the air quality. We're getting into that time of the year when the temperatures are going to go up. Mr. Kelly is already prepared for the temperatures. And we are going to be approaching the bad air quality soon, and hopefully our fires stay away. But that's all part of my day's job, is evaluating how the air quality is going to be and making some decisions whether we keep children in or not. So I thank you. Education is the best prevention, and we continue to educate our parents and educate our children. We don't want emergency situations. We want prevention, and we want children to understand their bodies and listen to their bodies and do what's right for them. So I thank you very much for this and for supporting us.
Thank you so much, Bernice.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, item B is proclamation Older Americans Month. Ted, this is for you.
I knew that.
Again, this is a proclamation from the mayor, city of Newman, and there's several whereases. I'll just read a few. Whereas in April of 1963, President John F. Kennedy designated May as Senior Citizens Month. Ted. Whereas President Jimmy Carter in 1980 designation changed what was once called Senior Citizens Month to what is now called Older Americans Month, which is probably
Still the same.
yeah. At any rate, several other whereases, but now, therefore, I, Ed Caton, Mayor, on behalf of the City of Newman and the Newman City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Older Americans Month in the City of Newman and commend this observance to all of our residents.
You guys have been nice to us.
Well, you know, it's amazing. As soon as you hit 50, you start getting all that stuff from the AARP, and so. And this one is Proclamation National Police Week, which is also a special day. And Chief, would you like to step up and accept this? Again, a few more whereases, and I won't read them all because there's several. But whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including 13 sworn officers in the Newman Police Department. Whereas some 58,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 16,000 injuries. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1792, more than 18,661 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, including a total of 13 members from Stanislaus County law enforcement agencies alone. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Memorial, which was dedicated in 1991 in Washington, D.C. Whereas 387 names are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 133 officers killed in 2008 and 254 historical cases involving officers killed in previous years. I'll just go on to the next one. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which takes place this year on May 10 through 16, and whereas May 15 is designated as Peace Officer Memorial Day with federal law enforcement, directing that all flags be flown to half-staff on that date in honor of fallen officers and their families. Again, now, therefore, I, Ed Caton, Mayor, on behalf of Newman City Council, do hereby formally proclaim May 10 through 16 as 2009 as Police Week in Newman, and publicly salute the service to law enforcement officers in our community and the communities across the nation. And that's about it. Thank you, Chief, for your service.
Thank you.
Safe. Okay. Any other ceremonial matters to be dealt with? Seeing none, we'll move to item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Any member of the audience wish to address the council? Seeing none, we'll move to item 8, consent calendar. Item A, waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the April 28, 2009 regular meeting. D, approve LJ Newman Memorial Building air conditioning unit purchase. Bring it to council for direction.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
I second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, public hearings. Item A is adopt resolution number 2009, next in number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
Sorry, I was a little slow tonight. My apologies. Honorable Mayor and council members, in front of you have a report of nuisance abatement that the Public Works Department has been working on. There's an item to recommend to adopt a resolution declaring an existence of a public nuisance under the city's municipal code, under ordinance 95-4. The property abatement notices were mailed out April 15th. And we have some pictures of some of the properties that we have yet to abate. We started with 11, we're down to 6. Public Works staff has been working with the property owners to try to get them in compliance. These are all for large parcels that have weeds and things of that nature. We have informed them according to the municipal code, and you have the most recent list of the 6 properties remaining to abate. We checked those this afternoon to make sure that they were still the most recent list for you. And we did meet the requirement of the 10-day public notice, and there's staff report submitted to you for your possible action tonight. If you have any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions of Garner? Seeing none, open the public hearing. Any member of the public wish to address the council regarding these issues? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing and bring it back to council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2009, next number, a resolution declaring that the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Garner. Item 10, regular business. Item A, adopt resolution number 2009, next to number, a resolution approving a home regulatory agreement with 751 Driscoll Avenue, LP Corporation for Better Housing for the development of Newman Family Apartments project and authorizing the city manager to execute said contract.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you, as Mayor Caton stated, is Resolution 2009, next to number, authorizing the city manager to execute a home regulatory agreement for 751 Driscoll Avenue, also known as Corporation for Better Housing. Last year, the Planning Commission approved a site plan review for a workforce housing project, and the City Council subsequently approved a zone change for the same project. As a part of this project, the applicant has requested both RDA and home funds. In April of last year, the Redevelopment Agency set aside $300,000 in RDA funds for that project. The applicant has also requested $200,000 in home funds. In order to fund that request, the city must identify that 1, the project is eligible, 2, complete all necessary environmental reviews, and 3, complete a regulatory agreement. The project has been deemed eligible, and as of yesterday, we are officially done with the environmental process with HUD, so we're ready to go. All that's left is the regulatory agreement before you. The purpose of this agreement is to manage the project and ensure compliance with all home program regulations. It also provides the city security by providing the city a way out should the applicant not meet their timeliness deadlines as prescribed, which I believe is attached. The $200,000 has been budgeted and is available through the Home Consortia as our allocation. Staff recommends that the council approve resolution next to number authorizing the city manager to execute agreement.
Any questions by council?
Steph, when do they think they're going to start this?
Well, actually, a representative for the applicant is here, so he'd probably be better
Good.
suited for those
Good.
questions.
We will be making, Tim Miller, I'm a consulting planner working for Corporation for Better Housing and Links Development. We'll be making application for tax credits in June. Those awards are in August. Assuming we get our award, we have a 150-day kind of a start date through that program. So what's that, about 4 months? And
Next spring, maybe?
Yeah,
then?
next spring.
Yeah.
We've done some preliminary engineering, but as we start filing our applications, we'll follow up with our plan submittals and engineering for review so that we're ready to start. There's some pretty hard deadlines that we have to satisfy once we get those tax credit awards. And I want to thank the council in advance for your support. As the agency, as Stephanie's mentioned, you provided a commitment last year. We're going to ask you to modify that performance schedule so it conforms with this agreement and our current application process. I think that's next on your agenda. But what's important now is the demonstration of local assistance, and that helps us have a more competitive application and hopefully get a successful award this round. There's a lot more companies competing for those funds. There's a lot fewer lenders making affordable housing loans like there is for any development type of business. So it's the rules have really changed in the last couple of years since I got involved with the company, helping them with their entitlement activities. But this demonstration of this kind of support and the entitlement activities that you approved last year go a long way to making us a lot more competitive. So we certainly want to thank you for that, and hopefully see by this time next year we'd be well underway with a project that would bring 68 units to the community.
Any other questions? And I'm not sure if Roberta and Nick are familiar. This project was approved prior to you guys getting on the council, and they brought some plans and pictures in. It's a very nice looking project. So we're excited about the possibilities. So.
And I have one more. Mike, how are we doing now with these 68 going towards the...
Once we get these 68, we will have we have an implementation plan for the 08-09 year. And that requires 45, and then we get into our next 5-year period. So we'll actually be ahead of schedule in terms of providing affordable housing in the community. And then we're also right now working with Valley Manor Apartments. Some of you may recall being on this council, we were successful in getting a $1 million grant to help Housing Authority take over Valley Manor Apartments. Unfortunately, throughout the process, we didn't get the covenants, for the 55-year covenants, for us to count those. They're now willing to go back and do that for us after the fact. So if we get these 68 and those 50, I think it's 55 at Valley Manor, 48. If we get, this 68 and those 48, we're going to be well ahead of schedule. I mean, if you think about it, we have Rolling Hills, we have Westside Apartments, we have some on Merced Street, we have Valley Manor. We get this another 68 here. You got a couple on Hardin. We should be well into the future taken care of in terms of workforce housing.
Just to bring you guys up to date too, that they had
Nick
excellent
reminded me
references.
He was on the plan commission. He
Oh,
reminded me.
Nick, okay.
It's-
Because
it's-
they had
though.
excellent
Is this
references.
behind the car wash?
Yes,
Is that big
yes,
lot
yeah,
behind the car wash?
yeah.
Good.
But they had excellent references, and that was one of the reasons that they've done real well wherever they built. So it's good.
Any other questions? Bring it back to council for direction.
I so move for adoption of a resolution 2009, next number, authorizing the city manager to execute a home agreement with 751 Driscoll Avenue LP for the construction of 68-unit residential apartment complex.
Second?
And a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, approval of addendum to RDA participation agreement with 751 Driscoll Avenue LP Corporation for Better Housing for the development of the Newman Family Apartments project.
Thank you, Chairman. As we kind of go back and forth this time, we'll be serving as the Newman Redevelopment Agency in this particular matter. In July of 2007, the Newman Redevelopment Agency approved an implementation plan. Part of that implementation plan and part of RDA law requires us to set aside 20% of our funds for low and moderate housing projects. In April of 2008, the agency approved a resolution which set aside $300,000 for this particular project. And then finally in October, after we got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, we came forward with a participation agreement where the redevelopment agency would loan Corporation for Better Housing, or the Driscoll Limited Partnership, $300,000. At that point in time, the development was a 72-unit complex. In an effort to make their application stronger as they submitted to TCAC, which is Tax Credit Allocation Committee, in an effort to make their application stronger, they've reduced it from 72 units to 68 units, and therefore by making our contribution through the home and through the RDA a larger percentage of the total cost of the project. And then as part of that, that's the one major change that you're seeing in terms of the project, a reduction of 4 units, which actually overall impacts is probably a little bit easier on the area because less traffic, less noise, those types of things on there, and more open space for the residents. But as part of this is also the original agreement from the redevelopment agency included a schedule, construction schedule. And so we need to modify that because they were unsuccessful in their original turn. So we wanted to get it to match up with this one now. So again, there's a new schedule of construction, or schedule of performance, if you will, that's attached to this and now mirrors the agreement you just passed for the home agreement. So what we're trying to do is just make the two agreements mirror each other and can proceed forward, and therefore we're protected and know what they're supposed to do in terms of performance. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have. There is no monetary change as part of this application before you tonight. Again, it's just a reduction from 72 units to 68 units, and then a addendum or the change to the schedule of performance.
Great. Any questions, Michael?
What did they eliminate? 1 bedroom, 2, 3 bedroom?
I don't know offhand. Tim, do you recall offhand?
No, it's 4 units, but I don't remember what the unit mix was.
I can double check for you if you like.
I'd appreciate it. The reason being, guys, remember when we were talking about this thing, a lot of people came in and talked about the older people here in the city, being able to rent and afford maybe these kinds of things. So I'd hate to think that they eliminated one of the, or four of the single.
Would you prefer, I mean, we can make this a caveat. Would you prefer to see it across the board, like a 3, a 2, a 1, and then one of the other ones as well?
I would, because I remember a lot people hit me on the street with it, saying, my mom was looking into that and thinking that would be a good place. And this is, what, 2 years ago or a good year ago
Over a year
when
ago.
we did it, yeah. And I never thought of it that way, but it's, the single apartment
Is
or
your
single bedroom.
Is your goal to keep more of the smaller units or some more of the larger units?
My own opinion?
Yeah,
Well, my own opinion would be single, more singles.
more single
But
units.
more towards the older, the people here that can afford it then.
We can get that information. The information's across the street if
Okay, no.
No, Mike, it's not
Okay.
the end of the world,
Okay.
but I'm just curious what they did eliminate.
Actually, I can give you that breakdown. I've got the prior agreement in our modified site plan. Let's see, there was, in the current project makeup, there's 28 one-bedroom units, 16 two-bedroom, and 24 three-bedroom.
24, wow.
With the 72-unit project, there was 16, 7, 12. I need to do some math as we're. 8, 5, 2, and 7. There was 19. Someone will have to we'll have to add these up when I get done. There was 19 three-bedroom, 7, 9, 14 two-bedroom, and 32 one-bedroom. If that adds up to 72, but that doesn't.
So you lost 4 ones. Single
I
bedrooms.
I don't think those don't add up right.
But the current we have are 28 one, and
28 ones. 28 ones, 24 threes, and 16 twos.
twos, yeah.
And I don't know, I don't do the financial pro formas on these projects, or the tax credit application submittal, so I'd be real reluctant to say we could commit to changing these unit
No,
breakdowns.
I don't want, yeah, no,
So-
we've come too far, but I'm just curious on what, 24 three-bedroom, wow.
Well, there are, I mean, if based on our market study, there are
Yeah.
there are a number of large family
Oh, yeah.
affordable demand, so that's.
Yeah, no, I understand, trust me. No,
And we're- and-
that's good,
Okay.
that's fine. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. If there are no other questions, bring it council for direction.
Make a motion that we approve the addendum to the existing participation agreement between the agency and 751 Driscoll Avenue LP.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, award bid for wastewater treatment plant storage basin construction management to Ecologic. Garner.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council members, in front of you, you have a proposal for construction management services for our storage basin project, which is currently out to bid. Ecologic submitted a proposal which included bid period services, engineering services during construction, construction management inspection services, soil compaction services, and operation and maintenance manuals after the project is completed. Basically, they're going to take this project from where we're at right now with the bidding, reviewing the bids, ensuring they meet all our specifications, all the way through the finalization of the project and bring it back to council for recommendation. This project is for a not to exceed amount of $205,000, which equates to approximately 8% of the total project cost. It is Director of Public Works recommendation that council accept the proposal for construction management services from Ecologic Engineering. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
And Michael, this is a result of our visit to Sacramento with the professor when we met with Galgiani.
Yes.
This is project.
Yes, this is exactly right. And part of that was our meeting dealt with mostly the financing and getting the Regional Water Quality Control Board to get it off their desk and move it forward.
Yeah, yeah, and just to bring you guys up to speed, the Quality Control Board was giving us a lot of grief and wasn't really willing to work, it appeared, with us too much. And then Michael and I made a trip to Sacramento and spent some time with Kathleen Galgiani's office with these people. And all of a sudden they thought, well, geez, we're willing to work with you guys.
That's that letter, is that when?
And
yeah,
so
all of a
Michael
sudden.
and Professor, I was wondering, where's Professor? Puts on a good show, but Michael did a good job presenting our case as Kathleen sat and listened, and all of a sudden, I think they almost were insulted that we went to Sacramento to get results, but it worked, so.
Mayor, I characterize it as embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because they were like, well, we could have did this in our office, and we're like, well, we tried for 4 months and we couldn't get any answers out of you. That's why I think they were embarrassed to be called into our Assemblywoman's office, and she kind of took them to task on that. So.
Yeah. So, and the money has already been budgeted for it. So out of the 09-08 budget. So, with that, some direction for the council.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal for the wastewater treatment plant storage basin construction management services from Ecologic Engineering for an amount not to exceed $205,000.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to item 11, comments from Supervisor. He's not here. Item 12, items from City Manager and staff.
First item I'd like to address is just the memo I put on your desk in front of you prior to this meeting. Basically, with the upcoming elections for May 19th and the fact that we haven't been able to finalize any deals with our union groups, and there's lots of ongoing discussions of what's going to happen if those propositions don't pass. Some of those can continue to come out right now. I think tomorrow or 14th, the governor will produce a new budget as if they're going to pass. Shortly after that, on what day was it? The same day, later on that day, he's going to come up with a budget if they don't pass. Now, I think I've told you, if they don't pass, we're really looking at $8 to $20 billion budget deficit at the state level. The Republicans at the state level are saying no more taxes. And so at that point in time, they're going to have to beg, borrow, and steal, and we are one of the people they can pick off. So in all likelihood, we can anticipate that they're going to utilize Proposition 1A, which means they can take money from us up to 8% of our property tax money and up to 8% of our VLF fees. That's a significant amount of money to us. So if that happens, a lot of the work we've done up to this date, it's good work, but it just puts us way back where we started again. Now, if you're unaware, and Tom, correct me when I'm wrong, under Prop 1A, the state can come in and take monies from us. They have 3 years to repay us, to pay us back. So this money's going to be gone for 3 years. Now they have to pay us back with interest, and they can't borrow again until they pay us back. But
that's really the only hook on the thing, because if you're in a depression, they don't pay. So what? What are we going to do? So.
Exactly. So the biggest thing is that they can't take again from us for 3 years, or they can't take again from us until they pay us back. Technically, until they pay us back. So anyways, with all that going on, staff would like to recommend to the council that we reschedule the May 19th budget date to June 9th. That's a regularly scheduled council meeting day. We could do it at 6 and get it going for an hour. That really gives us 3 opportunities to meet. We could meet on the 9th. Again, we could do the 16th if we're undone, and then we can go to the 23rd for final adoption. As you know,
I won't be here.
we need to have a budget adopted by June 30th in order to continue to move forward, so. So
Like, I'll be
that would be
gone.
our recommendation
Yeah.
at this time, is to reschedule that for June 9th.
The 9th's great, but I leave on the 11th, and I won't be back until the 21st, I think it is, or
The
22nd
11th of what?
of June.
The meeting's on the 9th.
No, 9th is fine.
Yeah, he
That's
just,
good.
he
but
just meant if
he
there was a
ju-
carryover to the 16th.
He just mentioned
he
two
was
other
not gonna
nights.
be
and
I
I-
understand. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
won't be here.
Right, I
I mean,
understand.
I could, by phone or whatever, can we do that?
Well, here's the thing, we can do the 9th, we can go as long as we want, because we just have a council meeting afterwards. I mean, if it takes 2 hours, we take 2 hours, if it takes 1 hour, it takes 1 hour, but we have a regularly scheduled council meeting, so we can, we have some flexibility there in terms of you're gonna be scheduled to be here that particular day. I only threw out the 16th in case we couldn't get everything done.
Why don't we, Michael, if everybody is okay with the 9th, why don't we just, if we can, maybe try to have a light agenda on the 9th, a regular business agenda, and then why don't we just
Great,
do
good.
it afterwards and then try to hash it out and just be done with it, if that's okay with everybody. If it's as light as this one, we'll sail right through it. Okay, is everybody concur with that? Try to do it then?
Got my
Okay.
vote.
Mayor, 6 PM?
Yes,
for
that's fine with
everybody?
me.
Yep.
Yeah.
6?
Yeah. That's good. Okay. Michael, at what point in time do we need to be concerned with RDA money, that as far as the state
Well,
tracking?
that's one of the things I had on my thing today was, you may recall the state had a money grab last year where they stole $85,000 from the redevelopment agencies. That money was due to be paid on May 10th? On May 10th. So the state, the county tax collector, auditor, controller kept sending us letters. How do you intend to pay it? How do you intend to pay it? And we would say, we don't intend to pay it. We think it's illegal. Well, the California Redevelopment Association, in conjunction with the Madera Redevelopment Agency, and I think a couple from downstairs, filed suit on the state and said it was unconstitutional for them to take our monies. And we were successful. So the $85,000 was never taken from us. So fortunately, our redevelopment agency was to the benefit of $85,000. However, there is some legal minds that think that RDA agencies, redevelopment agencies, are acceptable to Prop 1A. Meaning they can do a 1-year grab if they promise to pay it back in 3 years and give us some interest. So I think
Another
that's
lawsuit.
I think that's the next test. So, and I haven't seen the official written judge's decision on what his findings were, because depending on his findings, that may squash that as well, because if it's under the Public Health and Safety Code and under California redevelopment law, he cites specific examples about what those revenues can be used for. That may quash the state's ability to grab that money. So. And Tom, do you have anything to add to that?
Even use quash, that's a legal term.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, again, when Michael and I were in Sacramento during legislative action days, Galgiani said, oh, don't worry about it. It's not on the radar. Denham says, don't hold your breath. They're going to take whatever they can get. So that's why I was curious at what point they're going to attack our RDA money. So keep your fingers crossed. Anything else, Michael?
Yes. I think the bigger issue we have right now is current polling is saying that the propositions are not going to be successful. I think they're still around the mid-40s, which makes myself and our finance director very nervous, because we know that the state's going to come after city funds. There's just no way for them to successfully balance their budget, or even to make a modified budget without city funds and county funds. So again, that's going to put us as a community in another very difficult position, as another 8 to 12 or 15% hit on our revenues, on top of what we've already planned for last year and this year. So we'll continue to keep you updated all I can do is encourage all of our residents to educate yourself about the propositions that are coming up and vote. So, with that, another potential, and this one comes up every single year, and I know the mayor and the chief can really and make light of that, but COPS money. COPS is another state-funded program by which we receive $100,000 to supplement our public safety budget. It's always thrown out on the table. Every single year, are we going to get our COPS money? And they fight over it, and they fight over it, and we ultimately get our money. It's going to be thrown out on the table again. And we've been very fortunate that they've always kept the floor $100,000, so everybody gets $100,000, and they just kind of take it off the top and in the middle. I don't know how much more they're going to be able to do that, so I think our $100,000 COP money is definitely going to be in jeopardy this year as well. So potentially another $100,000 addition to our deficit that comes along. So if they steal 8% of our property tax revenues and they don't fund COPS, things are going to get real drastic real fast, and we're hoping that that's not the case. Wanted to remind the council that on May 22nd, that will be our third and final work furlough day. That was passed earlier this year by the council. That is in conjunction with Memorial Day that's coming up. So City Hall, Police Department, all city non-essential services will be closed on May 22nd. One thing I'd just like to do real quick is just publicly congratulate the police department on the fine work they did with the arson arrest. That was a very big undertaking, and within 2 weeks they solved that case and had 2 arrests. A new officer, Officer Edgar Lopez, led the way. He's, our guy that we sent to the academy came out. He's barely out of the FTO program, and he worked diligently on it and tracked down all those leads and was very key in getting that case solved. So that's a very big kudos to Officer Lopez on that. And then lastly, a big kudos to our Public Works Department. As you know, our director, Garner Reynolds, and his assistant, Terry Barquez, have continually badgered StanCog about ERA funds, STIP funds, CMAC funds, whatever money's available out there for our plaza. Now, we used to have high hopes we were going to get $3 million, and then we ended up at $300,000. And $300,000 is great. We thanked them, but we didn't give up. We kept pushing and kept pushing. To date, the amount of money that we're hearing we're going to get, and this is good source, $2.06 million for the plaza.
Cool.
So that's very good.
Good job. Great
So
job.
with the current bidding climate and projects coming in lower than the engineer's estimates, with $2 million here, the city's in tune to get a very nice project done for probably less than $1 million out of our pockets. So I think that's very good. It's a long-term economic stimulus package for our downtown. It's very good for our businesses. It's very good for our community, and it's good to see. A lot of you have been hearing about this plaza for a long time, and it's been on the books since the mid-'90s. And it's good to finally see something getting built there, and we're glad that it's done. And so 2.06 is where we're at right now, and we continue to look for more. So with that, we'll keep you informed. And that's all that I had, but I can answer any questions that the council may have.
Any questions, Michael? 2.6 million is not a bad chunk of money.
2.06.
2.06, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2.06.
Okay, $2 million. Not bad, huh? Any questions, Michael?
Why didn't you get 3?
We're not done. We still have the San Joaquin Valley Partnership that we submitted application to. We continue to work with our State Senator Denham, Assemblymember Galgiani, as well as our federal Congressman Cardoza that we keep pushing and pushing and pushing about trying to get that last little bit in there. And we'll continue to push until that bid's awarded. And you can continue to get money until that bid's awarded. So that's our goal. Every conversation we have, somehow we try to bring it back around to the plaza. And we'll continue to push that.
And I think we need it more than ever right now. So, okay. Staff, anybody, Chief, Garner, Sonia, Steph?
Some fact follows, I don't have $2 million.
You need it, though.
I'll have to work on that. We're not live on television or anything tonight, but so I'm not giving out any secrets. But tomorrow morning, it's sort of been kept under wraps, particularly from the students. There are a few in town, obviously, that know. But tomorrow morning, beginning at 9:30, is the every 15 minutes program at the high school. If you're familiar with that, as a underage drinking program. So if you're in town or available, it's a very, very interesting, very impressive event. I encourage you to stop by the stadium beginning at 9:30, and there's an assembly the following day that begins at 10, somewhere around 10. If you're interested, I'll get you the exact time where it's they'll replay it in a movie type broadcast, the entire event, because it doesn't just end at the stadium. They go on to the hospital and do real life things there, the coroner's office, actually into the jail, and so on. And then all of that is put into a professional production and shown to the student body in an assembly. So very large impact. So we're happy to be a partner in that, and just one of the components that we're addressing underage drinking. I'd mentioned a couple meetings before as well. On May 19th, we're hosting an educational meeting for our alcohol license holders to educate them on underage drinking as we approach the graduation season and the summer months. We want to step up those efforts because we've seen an increase in our contacts with minors drinking, as well as sale to minors by some of our local establishments. So we'll follow that educational component with an enforcement component in the coming months as well. And hopefully we won't, success will be we don't catch anybody. That's the goal. And lastly, good news on the following council's direction. On next meeting, I think we'll have a very strong graffiti ordinance for you. We've been exploring other ordinances in other communities and really dove into ours a little bit. It is a bit dated. There are some much more aggressive ordinances out there that we're going to try to model and that best suits us. So I think we'll be bringing something to you next meeting that following what we heard from you last meeting sounds like what you're interested in. And so we'll follow that up. And I believe that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Question of the chief?
Nothing on your motorcycle yet. Any day I'm waiting for the email, but the only
what's
thing
your
that
thoughts? You think we have a chance?
When you see that red light behind you, you'll know he's here.
I know it's here.
I'm optimistic, but I think realistically it's probably a no. I hope I'm wrong, but things are so tight this year. Everyone's looking for money, and we don't have the best statistics. I mean, it's a good thing as well. We don't have a high traffic collision rate in the city, so we don't have a large high DUI rate. Although we've already exceeded the total number of arrests we had in 2008 for DUI. We've already exceeded that for 2009. Unfortunately, that's after the grant submission, though. So if we don't get it this year, we'll make it maybe another run at it next year. But all the website says is by the end of May. So any day.
It's
we
tough
hope
competitive too.
It's pretty competitive right now. Everyone's looking for money.
Funny story. We have a gentleman in our neighborhood now, a police officer, who rides the bike, and I don't know if he's Modesto.
Yes.
Is it Modesto?
Yes.
And because I had a call from one of my friends, and she, you told me we didn't have that yet. She's yelling at me. He followed me down. I had to slow down. I thought he didn't give you a ticket. Darn it, But she's yelling at me that I didn't think we had it yet. I just had to laugh.
Modesto Motors that live in the city, and And it's a good thing because they occasionally stop people and we get the benefit.
Oh,
of it.
really?
So
They do?
They have the authority, sure.
Oh, good.
So I'll see him sometimes have someone stopped.
Yeah,
absolutely.
he lives right behind me, I think. But and also mention that 15 minutes. I was involved in that. My daughter was in when she was at Los Gatos High School. Was the girl in the car, and they picked 3 students, and she was one of them. And I had to write an obituary.
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, I cried like a baby. That it just brings me back. And then I had to follow her down to the trauma center in the hospital, and they're all in there doing exactly what would happen if that happened. And there was a little funny thing to it. The doctor, they had paddles the whole thing, and the doctor gets down to her and he goes, jump when I do this. And because the other people didn't know it, and he goes like this, and she goes like this. All the nurses and all the people, oh my God, And so it's just a funny story, but not just a really tough on me, I'll tell you. And anybody, the kids, it'll be interesting to see the second day. Isn't that when they had the funeral and all that
all
stuff
of ours occurs the first day, and we replay it. It's all videoed now.
Oh, is it now?
Professional video production crew follows the entire event, and then the next day, because not every kid can see the event at the hospital, at the jail, so they video that and they put it all together in a nice package the next day. So if you would see most of it if you wanted to attend one, that would be probably the best.
Yeah.
To see the actual live collision. Would be tomorrow morning, and there will be a helicopter landing in town in case, you get calls from citizens, council member, what's going on. There will be the life flight helicopter and a large bang. We use what we call a flash bang to simulate the sounds of the cars crashing together. So it'll be pretty loud noise. We could get some calls from it. So
interesting, very good.
Very good
program.
event.
I hope it wakes at least 1 or 2 up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Any questions of Chief?
Nope. Thank you.
Well, to make you feel better, my agency, we're buying 5 new bikes here real soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is?
Mercer County Sheriff.
Oh, are you guys? Oh, nice. Oh, good. On 140, then I'm sure
I
I'll see one.
I spent all day today with Alameda County looking at their program. So.
Oh, great. Now I'll have to watch for them too.
Garner.
Just want to update council on a few things throughout the community. The Hill Park House demolition is almost complete. They started it this morning, and they should be all cleaned up tomorrow. Pretty impressive operation. They're actually able to save the old windmill. I think they're salvaging that themselves, but that project's coming along very nice. The FDS Hall, the sidewalk, and the landscaping has been completed from the city side. Looks very nice. I think they're ready for their grand opening now.
Have you seen the cement work steps they did over there? Have you got out and looked at the sidewalks?
The coloration that they did?
It's unbelievable. It looks like old.
Yes.
I mean, it looks like the wood on the boardwalk in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually looks like wood. They even put in the nail holes. It's incredible.
That's neat.
Just incredible.
And it's concrete.
Yeah.
It looks very impressive. That's always impressed me how they're able to take concrete and to make it
it's
they make it
amazing.
look like marble, they make it look like wood. It's very impressive.
I mean, even to the detail is so detailed, even where parts of the cement looks like it's, like how wood wears out after time. That's how it looks. It's incredible. It's just something else.
It's a very, very proud facility. Then, in addition to that, we're going to be having the Pioneer Park facility across the street that we're going to be renovating the canopy over there soon. Demolition's due to start tomorrow on that facility. So I complement the FDS Hall and things that they've done in that nature. In addition to that, we planted 18 trees, one of which was Mr. Kelly's tree.
Done it, Del, man.
Wait a second, did you charge him for that?
See?
If you would like.
Yes.
I'm hoping that number 5 is the lucky one.
He has some very tough soil over there. We're going to do some work with the county ag and see if we can't take some soil to him and see if we can help him out a little bit. We are continually trying to get a tree that lives there, even if we have to plant a fake one year after year and make it grow. We'll do something. The storage basin project that we talked about earlier, that project, the bids open tomorrow. Rumor mill is the bids opening recently have been anywhere between 40 to 60% less than the engineer's estimate. I had some news from local agencies around here. They're very impressed with how much the bids have dropped. So I got my fingers crossed. At the next council meeting, I'll probably be bringing an item to you awarding that contract. So we really hope, the engineer's estimate is $2.56 million, and we hope that that comes in less than 2. That's our fingers crossed. With the Plaza project, we've been working very hard to wrestle as much money as we can from StanCog. My staff member, Terry Barquez, has been very diligent in stepping by my side, even though we've had some tough arm wrestling matches. We've won a few of them, we lost a few of them, but we're getting there. And still continuing to wrestle with them until we get this project awarded. We're still eligible for money up until we award this project for ERA money, stimulus money. So we're going to continue hammering that through StanCog as much as we can. We got them on our side. They do feel for the local agency. They came out here and walked over where the plaza was at. They came to my facility where my office is, and they're very impressed with the community, and I have their senior planner on our side trying to get every penny we can. Between that and the bids, as the city manager was informing you, we hope that we come out of our pocket very little for this big project. And that's all I had. If you have questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions, Garner?
Just one quick,
Yes,
that graffiti, it's still on that, over there at the park, the soccer park in Ranchwood, that SMK, that lovely.
Okay.
So they're still on there, guys, a couple of things, but everything else. And the yards, I mean, a lot of the houses that, with the abatements and stuff, they cleaned that all up, it looks great. I walk with every morning, my neighbor, he always gripes, "Oh, when are you gonna do something about that?" Well, now I can, hey.
We'll be out there in the morning looking for the graffiti, and we'll get that taken
It's
care
right
of.
on that, it's private property, I know that's what held us up before on that same thing, but if
Yes.
That's
you
one of
guys.
the promising things about the other ordinances we're looking at, addresses a lot of the private property stuff, and sort of just lets us go in and do it, and then we deal with it after the fact. I don't know how happy Tom would be with that, but other cities are using it in our county. But we address it, and then we come back and abate it after the fact.
No TV tonight?
No TV.
I had a question on graffiti.
Yes, sir.
I turned a list of places that had graffiti, and how would I know if we're actively going out and telling those people they need to take care of the graffiti? One was a mailbox, and it's been on there for quite a while. And I just wondered.
Between the chief and I, we handle public and private.
Yeah,
I
I-
handle mainly public, but I try to help out as much as I can. He's really diligent about the private properties. Did you?
If it's a community mailbox or an individual's?
No, it's a multiple mailbox
One of those
for
clusters?
a community.
Postal service then.
Yeah, but I turned a list into the police department.
When did you do that?
The 23rd. Was it 23rd? No,
Did you give it to one of the ladies up front?
it was a list. I think I had 5 or 6 different locations that I.
I'll get back with you tomorrow.
Yeah, but a general comment is that the town really looks good as far as graffiti. I mean, I'm making sure I go out Sunday and take a little stroll around town and see how things look. But the town looked very nice overall. But it's getting to be more subtle, like smaller graffiti here and there. But it's still out there.
We've even seen them way up. We've seen them high up on power poles too. I don't know how they're getting very creative on how they get up that high.
You're kidding.
No, they're
Yeah, and
10,
we'll-
12 feet up in the air, and I'm not sure how they're getting there.
We'll be responsible when they fall too, I guess.
One last thing, the air conditioning purchase that we did from Memorial Building, that project should be completed tomorrow. They went in and did a lot of duct work today, and they hope to have the unit in place tomorrow and functioning by this weekend. So thank you very much for that purchase. We really appreciate that.
So will they on Friday, the 50-plus one?
And it's supposed to be warm.
I mean, 90 on Friday.
So
Kent lives there, so I mean, these guys, he and David.
I'll make sure the contractor does extra special work for you.
Thank you very much.
Stephanie, anything? Sonia, anything?
Nope.
I know.
What?
Nothing, Ted. Nothing.
What do you say?
Nothing, Ted. Okay.
to Mike.
Items from council members. Ted, you have anything to say?
Just I meant to say too, when Gardner was up here, that that on Upper Road, putting in the landscaping, it really looks nice. I mean, that whole road now, right in that area, it really looks nice. And, thank you.
As funding comes available, we'll put more of that in.
Good. But that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Roberta?
Saturday was great. Police department ran that. A lot of people can't afford $60 and more for a shot to go in to make an appointment with a vet now. And those shots were reasonable. There was a wait, but it would have been worth it. I don't have a dog, but if I had, I'd have been out there in the light. I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you. We'll be making some improvements. There'll be another one in September in Pioneer Park. And, I don't know that the weights will get much less at checking with others in the county. It seems pretty standard, but it is a bit of a trade-off with, about a 60 to 70% discount. Thank you.
It makes it affordable, and the weight is not that bad for the discount they're getting.
Nick?
Kudos to the police department from some of the downtown merchants. I was downtown last week, and they said thank you for having the officers stop in and check with the merchants. And the little problem that we talked about with the kids out there after school with the white T-shirts, they've seemed to disappear. So whatever you guys did, it worked. So thanks. And thanks from the merchants.
Thanks. I'll pass it on.
A couple comments.
Got a list of stuff.
I'd like to have a new tree in my front yard. No,
You can have my old one.
I did take my dog to the clinic, and I don't want to make too many comments or negative comments because the people that were there worked very hard to, and they probably worked the long hours because I had to wait almost 2.5, 3 hours. But it is the first time they've done this and set it up. So, and I know next time will be better, but it just was just too long a wait for most people. My other comment is probably the best kept secret in this town is our website. And I don't know who's responsible for it, but I heard a comment from one of our citizens that compared to another city close by, it was unbelievable how great the website is. And we're probably familiar with it, you or Mike, but the general public should take a look at it because it's unbelievable. And if you want, you can actually see the council meetings on there. So.
And it's continually updated. A lot of the
And
good goes to Stephanie Ocasio and Mike Meyer.
Okay, well, it's excellent. It's really excellent. It's worthwhile, and I just want the citizens out there to go on that website and take a look. You're going to see a lot of things. You're going to know a lot more about our city, and it's really well done. And that's the only thing I have to say.
We just updated the recreation portion.
Great. I just have a couple of things. First and foremost, I think absolutely thank the police department chief and Edgar and all your guys for solving what's probably one of the most devastating, fires and crimes we've had in our community. So the guys did a great job. So please convey to them thanks not only from me, but I'm sure from the whole council and the community. So hopefully, and I didn't realize until after I read Dean's little article about, and I don't visit the West Side Connect. I think it's trash, but I did this time just because I wanted to see what people's comments were and how they were making excuses for the responsibles, how it was a prank and just kids are kids type of thing. It's amazing how stupid people are. Just amazing.
How do you really feel?
And anyway, I'm sure that the merchants who lost their businesses and the property owner appreciate those comments, but at any rate, so I think the guys did a great job. Very proud of them. Also, I'd like to acknowledge, I'm sure all of you know that the chief passed on an email for Officer Earl is named Officer of the Year. So I sent him off an email and congratulate him. So job well done there. So again, extend to him congratulations from, and that is when, Chief?
This Thursday at 12 noon.
As in, I've got a full week, so I was going to try to make it, and I still might cheat and sneak out and go there. So, let's see, and just from a personal thing, on that, well, I think it's not public knowledge. It must be. Mayor Cannella from Ceres has announced his candidacy for state senate, and he'll be going forward with that. I guess Denham is, I don't know if he's termed out or whatever he's doing. He's going somewhere else.
He's termed out and going for lieutenant governor.
Anthony Cannella has announced his candidacy for state senate. So, and if you know Anthony, he's a pretty squared away guy, pretty sharp guy, and So for what it's worth, I thought I'd announce that. And on another thing, on a personal note, I don't know how many times anybody has had an opportunity to rub elbows shoulder to shoulder with Olympians, but I got to do that about 2 weeks ago. Edamisqua, one of the local friends of mine here in town, brought, he's into teaching hitting now, softball hitting, and he called a guy out of Clear Blue Sky out of Cincinnati, Ohio, who is a batting guru, and started talking with him, and before he knew it, he arranged for this guy to come out and help him with a softball clinic, hitting clinic. And this guy brought with him Crystal Bustos, who's the third baseman for the United States Olympic team, and probably the most feared and respected hitter in women's softball. She led the Olympics in home runs and just really a neat gal. And along with her, they brought Lovianne Young, who is the starting shortstop for the Olympic team. So she put on a clinic on fielding, Crystal put on a clinic for hitting, and I got to be their personal escort for 3 days. And I tell you, I got to hold her Olympic medals, and I tell you, it literally sent chills down my back, holding these, the gold from Athens, the gold from Australia, and the silver from Beijing. But to hold Olympic medals in your hands is just, it's amazing, just amazing. And two of the nicest gals, very humble but elite athletes. Mm-hmm. And Crystal put on a little hitting display. She hit several balls, 300 plus feet, and a couple of them came back, which were round when she hit them. They were flat when they came back. It was amazing. She has a bat speed of 80 miles an hour. 80 miles an hour, just incredible. But anyway, so that was just a special time for me, and I had a lot of fun spending time with them. Michelle will be in town this Saturday at UC Merced, Michelle Obama, and I'm on part of a team for the Sheriff's Department. We'll be escorting her in, and along with Secret Service and Chippy, I get riding my motorcycle along, so that's going to be fun.
And where's that going to be?
UC Merced. She's flying into Castle, and then they'll
at the university. It's going to happen. Okay, yeah. Not at the junior college then.
No, at UC.
I didn't know if they were. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure if you don't have a ticket by now, you're not going to get.
Oh no! I was just because I go over and play tennis.
Yeah. So I'll be at UC Merced, so that's going to be exciting. And let's see, one other thing I forgot to mention. I went 2 weeks ago and spoke with the League of Women Voters in Modesto. I was invited to go over and speak, and so I did. And what a neat group of ladies. And there's two guys actually showed up. And so I spoke and touted our city and the issues that are facing us as a community, and mentioned to them about our fire. And just so happened there's one of the guys that was there had family that lived here years ago and had a little history about the Oddfellows, and was sharing that with me. And his family actually owned Manny Rose's house out on Sanchez. His grandfather or somebody owned it prior to that, and so I got a little history lesson from him. It was pretty neat. So and I just thought of that because they sent me a thank you for going over and BSing them. So it was a lot of fun. And with that, if there's nothing further, we will go to closed session and conference with labor negotiator, all bargaining units under Government Code 54957.6, and public employee personnel evaluation, city manager, Government Code 54957. All right.